Today we're going to make our amazing pancakes. Every year we have Shrove Tuesday and that is Pancake Day. Pancakes can be savoury or they can be sweet and they're very versatile. So I'm going to just show you a basic pancake mixture. Okay, super easy. I've got loads of things around me, but that's just to give you an idea of the different tastes and flavours you can do. Okay, but the most important thing is you've got some flour. You can use either plain flour or self-raising flour. Remember, before you start cooking, always wash your hands and put on an apron. I know that goes without saying. But anyway, so I'm just going to crack my egg. You're going to use a whole egg in this recipe. Okay. I've measured out my flour. I've got 100 grams of flour. Again, you can use self-raising or plain. Some people believe you should only use plain, but then they put baking powder in. I think it's completely up to you. So I think in general, better pancakes are with plain flour, to be honest. Right, so I've whisked up that egg and I'm going to pour that straight into my flour. And what I want to end up is, I want to end up with a batter. And I want this batter to be smooth. So it's important to add the egg and the milk together. And literally add it into the center. And you can see that the flour falls into what we call the well. And that way you should end up with a, well, hopefully not lumpy batter mix. So it's a bit thick. There's 100 grams of milk here. Again, you can use any kind of milk. You can use full fat or half fat. You could also use any of the alternatives if you prefer, if you can't use dairy. That won't matter at all. So really, all you need to do is have a very good hand and a good whisk. And you just literally make that batter as smooth as possible. You could, if you wanted to, use a metal whisk, but to be honest with you, as long as you keep stirring it, I think it's fine with a fork. So what I've got over here is I've got a pan on. This is a heavy frying pan, and this frying pan has been on the heat. I want it to get really hot before I add my batter, okay? Into that pan, I have literally put about a teaspoon, maybe just over a teaspoon of oil. Again, I've used vegetable oil, but you can use sunflower oil. I don't think I would use an expensive oil, something like a sort of good expensive oil, but it's completely up to you. Okay, so I was thinking about the word virgin olive oil. Right, so that's how your batter should look. All right, so it's just falling off the fork, okay? It's not too runny, but it's not too thick. So I'm going to turn the heat up on my pan, move the oil around, and what you do is you're going to pour the batter into the center of the pan, and you literally going to move it around. Now the first one that you make is always, they always say it's the worst, okay? So don't worry about it. The first one never works out particularly well because the pan is not really hot enough. So don't worry about that. Just get that one going, use that one as your experiment. You can start to see it sizzling now. I'm just gonna clean off that spatula. It's just beginning to sizzle. There he goes. Okay, so don't forget, I'm not going to be upset because the first one is not going to be the best. Okay, so if your batter mixture is a little bit too thick, which actually I think mine is a little bit too thick, I'm just going to add a little bit more milk. I think I want it to be a little bit thinner than that. Okay, so what I'm going to do now, just because of time, is I'm going to flip this one over, show you the other side, and then start on my next one, hoping that that pan has got really hot now. So you can see it bubbling away. That's it. Okay, and so I'm going to do one more just to show you. So that's the one I'm going to say is not the best in the world. Go back to the pan. Okay, remember, if you're doing this alone, do it, make sure that you're safe, and if you're worried, get some help. So I'm going to pour that from above. That's a much better batter, I think. I'm going to push that around the pan like that. Obviously, the more you push it around the pan, the thinner it will get. Leave that on your high heat, and you'll flip that over. Now, I know you're going to say to me, am I going to flip it up in the air? I don't think I'd probably trust myself to do that. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to show you, while that's cooking, what you would do to bring it all together. You could use some lemon, okay, fresh lemon juice, a little bit of caster sugar. Those are fresh blueberries. I've got some raspberries here. Basically, you just sprinkle it over the top. You put the lemon juice or whatever juice, it could be orange juice if you wanted, and you roll it up, okay? So let's see if we go back to this one. We'll give that one a flip. You can see how much better that one is than the first one that was not really that great. I'm sorry to tell you, but that's normal. And then I'm just going to show you again. So the more pancakes you make, the better they get. So the hotter the pan is and the more crispy they become. And by the end, you should have this lovely colour coming on here. So you can just flip it again. If you're feeling brave, you can flip it up in the air. And that is your basic pancake mixture. Sometimes people add some syrup or honey. You can do that as well. You could do that in the pan, but just remember, if you do this, yeah, just to be a bit careful, because obviously that honey, if it wants to come out, is going to start to melt. Come on, it's very cold in here, so it doesn't want to come out. But anyway, or what you can do is, if the honey won't come out, like it won't, you could just pop a little bit of sugar on the top there, like that. You can go back and squeeze your lemon. You can hear it now. And then what you can do is you can just roll the pancake up like that. And then that will be ready to serve. Enjoy and practice.